Welcome back to your Debates 2015. I'm Amelia. I'll be taking over from Cash, and I'll be taking you through the final four sabbatical debates today, which is VP Engagement, VP DCI, VP Welfare, and of course, President. So let's begin by welcoming your VP Engagement candidates to the stage. Hello, so if you would just like to introduce yourselves.
Okay. Hi, my name is Jenny Bortoluzzi. I'm currently RAG officer, and I'm a marine biology student.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a modern languages student, and I'm academic president for that as well.
Okay, brilliant. So, first question then, arguably it's probably one of the biggest issues the union is regularly criticised for, and that is poor communication. That can be from Facebook, or it could be from full-time officers and their communication with students. How do you think that you would rethink the communication strategy? Also, just so you know, we've got this time indicator here. Ooh. Don't know if you know how it works, but basically if it flashes orange, you've got about 5 seconds left, and red, you should wrap it up, okay? Jenny, do you want to go first?
So at the moment, I think students are feeling quite detached from the social media. SUSU has got a Facebook page, a Twitter, a Snapchat, it's got YouTube channel. I just think they do feel a bit detached, and I think social media should be used as a support for face-to-face, for reinforcing anything that's been said to students. So I think we need to go by actually having face-to-face contact, going around halls. So yeah, that's my main thing.
Okay.
Yeah, similar to Jenny really. I'm a massive social media nerd anyway. I like to use it a lot. So it's more about getting lots of content out there and, for example, using a lot more than just Facebook, using just more than email, because of course it's tailoring to more different audiences and different students, which I feel like I've already done in my manifesto already, and I'd like to see that being done so more students have more access in different ways to different parts of the society, the student union.
So do you think the best way to improve that is to create more platforms for social media, or to just enhance the ones you already have?
I definitely think there's already enough social media, and we shouldn't add anything on top of that. I think, as I said, that the social media needs to be reinforcing things that has been said to students. And we've had several successful communication campaigns, like the Humans of SUSU. That was a really good one that people engaged with because they saw people they knew. And I think that if it's just a block of text, for example, on social media, that people don't sort of relate to it.
Yeah. And Hannah?
Yeah, I guess we're similar. I would agree that we don't need more. I feel like it's more improving. So, for example, we have an Instagram account, we have Twitter. But again, it's about being able to provide your skills, for example, more workshops for students, for example, to use these platforms, so that more parts of the student union are engaged and are communicating with SUSU. So it's not that I feel like we have too much. I feel like it needs to be improved on. It needs to be made more accessible to students, really.
Okay, great. So, just found out we've recently been allocated £100,000 for student enterprise, which is a huge amount. And how would you manage a fund of this size and make sure that it's all used well? Hannah, do you want to go first?
Well, personally, I would want to take it to the students, quite honestly. I feel like because we're a student union, and one of my issues that I've found with SUSU is that I feel like we've strayed away from the student voice quite a bit. So what I'd like to do, and I've talked to students about this as well, is I'd like to be able to allocate them money and the funds that they want, doing something maybe similar like this, like debates, for example, or some kind of business plan, using the skill, instead of me being able to say, like, here's your allocated money, it's giving them the opportunity to maybe like debate for it, to business plan for it, yeah.
So we've got several enterprise societies and enterprise groups, but I think that this fund, as well as being accessible to them, needs to be accessible to also other students that aren't part of those societies. We have a lot of students in Winchester School of Arts that want to go into freelance artistry, and that's something that they should have access to. I think being able to apply for a part of that fund, it has to have criteria, and once they do have the money, they need to be able to send reports about what they're using the money for.
Okay, that's great. It's funny you mentioned enterprise groups, actually, because I don't know if you know, but both of you collectively mentioned the word enterprise 15 times in your manifesto, so it's obviously one of your favourite words. So if you could only do one thing to improve this area of work next year, what would that be? Jenny, if you want to go first.
So we have an enterprise officer, and I feel like that person should have a lot more support and say in the decisions that are related to enterprise students. The entrepreneurial week this year, she wasn't really included and involved in any of the decisions. I think the VP engagement and the enterprise officer need to work a lot together, but a lot more responsibility needs to be given to that enterprise officer.
For me, I feel like if I could do one thing for social enterprise, it would be networking and being able to give students the events and give them the platform to be able to network with each other. One of the things I've spoken to students before, just do my background research, was the fact that they feel like they've got so many societies they could collab with, but they don't have that kind of space where they can just be like there with each other, to meet each other. So if I could do anything, just one thing, it would be the networking and providing that space for students to be able to talk to each other and discuss ideas and take projects forward.
Okay, that's great. So the role is VP engagement. I don't know about a lot of people, but I think that's quite a vague term. What do you think personally, each of you, that means and what the role is for you? Hannah, if you want to go first.
Well, as I say in my manifesto, I'll probably get to this in a minute, but it's about, engaging students. So, for example, most people seem to kind of think it's about being responsible for RAG with sort of social enterprise and then comms is on the side, but I feel like it is what you make of it. It's quite a creative role, so yes, RAG is involved in social enterprise and also comms, but it's one of those roles I feel that you can kind of shape. So, for example, I feel like communication is very important. It's not as more important one than the other, but it is an area that I feel like could be addressed. Sorry.
Okay, and Jenny?
So, for me, the role has 3 different aspects to it. It has the groups and societies that are enterprise, volunteering and charity societies. But it's also a big part of communication, and the last bit would be outreach to the local community. That's quite an important one. So engagement is quite a buzzword, like people don't really know what it's about. But it's really making sure that students feel like they are a part of SUSU if they want to be.
That's great. Again, very convenient that you've mentioned students and how they're received by residents, because we've recently been told by someone that Portswood is basically like a student ghetto, which is not particularly ideal. No. Do you think it's important that we improve our relations with residents and residents' associations? And if so, how would you go about achieving that? Jenny, if you want to go first.
Yeah, I definitely think that students aren't always seen in a good light by local residents. They're usually perceived as being rowdy and, getting drunk. But I think local residents, we need to work with them for them to realise that students can benefit them, like they can work together, and residents of Southampton themselves. So I really want to create a Help Your Neighbour scheme and try and make students and their neighbours interact.
Well, it's funny you should mention residents' associations, because I've talked to a couple of them already, and I'm actually going to go to one of their meetings in a couple of weeks because I'm genuinely interested to see what they think. They've said that they want it on their council meetings, and I think it is important because, again, I've heard so many lovely stories from residents. For example, there was one on Gordon Avenue apparently where she'd heard a student had broken his leg, so she took him flowers, for example, which I thought was really cute. So I think it is very important to kind of bring the residents back together, because we all live in this city. Sure, we're semi-permanent residents, but it's still important to create that kind of sense of community feel.
Yeah, that's great. So if you guys just want to quickly round up your main points and basically why you're running. Hannah, if you want to go first.
Basically, my 3 points on my manifesto are communication, collaboration, and sense of community. I want to basically make a foundation which is important for all parts of this and aspects of this area. And I want to build up something that has been, I feel, a bit kind of lost, really. So, vote for me for more communication, collaboration, and community, as I've shown already that I'm doing in my manifesto and my campaigning.
So I've based my manifesto around 4 key areas, which are collaboration, communication, student recognition, and training. I really want people to benefit from specialised training, whether it's taking your skills to Winchester School of Arts, Collaboration with the university and with local residents, by using the university's staff and resources to provide some training, and trying to create a pair-up scheme for enterprise students and local businesses so that those students can experience firsthand what it's like to own a business. And yeah, communication, making sure that people know as soon as they get to university what SUSU is and who their SABs and what the SABs do and who they are.
Okay, well that is brilliant. Thank you so much. Those are your candidates for VP engagement. We're going to be taking a short break now, and next up will be your VP DCI.